We always say it's like 5 businesses in one.
As small business owners, we have a little bit more flexibility to not just follow the money and just keep educating, keep pushing the envelope of like what we believe.
Here, you can just shop without having to read the ingredients. Like we already do that due diligence for you.
Do you find a lot of people are asking questions?
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of people think small stores have to have more expensive pricing. We are very competitive, so we are pricing at the same level as a ShopRite or a Giant.
Because I was a customer at his store, and that's how we ended up married.
One of my favorite sayings is, you listen to your body when it whispers, you'll never hear it scream. Sometimes we end up being a last resort instead of a preventative choice.
As our standards are changing as a society, then there's got to be more natural products, I feel like, to counter that.
All right, I'm here with Brittany and Ameer, owners here at Soulberry Natural Market in, where are we in?
New Hope,
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay.
Soulberry, Pennsylvania.
Well, technically it's Soulberry. That's where the name comes from. It's like a play. It's a spin-off of the township. Yeah.
Okay.
But
And you're a natural market.
yes.
So what does that entail for someone who wouldn't know?
Oof. Okay, so basically we have a heavy focus on, well, we're standing in the produce department, so our produce is all organic, and it's also local. If it's local, it's not necessarily organic certified, but it's organically grown. It's really hard for small farmers to get that organic certification. It's expensive, so we just do our own due diligence and make sure they're following organic growing practices. We don't carry anything in the store if it's genetically modified. It has to be certified non-GMO for us to carry it.
With that little label?
Well, it has to be certified or disclaimer as non-GMO. Yes.
See, okay.
Yeah.
The only things that we make sure are certified non-GMO are things that are at-risk ingredients. So if it has anything like canola, cotton, soy, corn, things that are actually genetically modified. But if it's zucchini chips, like no oil, there's no, they're not genetically modified.
Yeah.
I see.
So,
Okay. And so when did you guys get started with this?
yeah, I started my first store about 13 years ago, right out of college.
Really? Okay. What did that look like?
The Whole Foods store I was shopping at was going out of business, so my dad helped me. Me and my dad went into business, and we were able to buy it. And then I ran that for a few years before we got my whole family involved, and then we grew it into a 3-store chain in northern New Jersey with my family.
So what did like the natural food industry, I guess, look like back then compared to now?
Yeah, so my first store was a little bit more of a focus on supplements and vitamins, but it's definitely grown a lot. At least tenfold for the natural food industry and organic sales in general throughout the U.S. But now there's a lot more awareness, social media. There's
A lot more innovation, I think, with the products too.
Yeah.
It's just, and also food has changed, so they've had to change. The things that. I know my grandmother was always like, I ate all that growing up, and because the ingredients are different. So now there's as our standards are changing as a society or in the conventional world, then there's got to be more natural products, I feel like, to counter that too. So
yeah, I think that the natural industry has, they've tried to be innovative with like following people's diet restrictions as well. So there's a lot more quality gluten-free ingredients. Like, people are coming out with better tasting things with multiple attributes, so not just gluten-free, but gluten-free and organic.
which I'll share like a fun story if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I went gluten-free probably, I don't want to date myself, but I went gluten-free like 14 years ago. And when I moved to New Jersey, I was like, oh my God, what do? I thought I could only eat like yogurt and potato chips. There wasn't a lot out there. And I found Ameer's store, and that's how we ended up married and doing this, because I was a customer at his store. But so it's changed so much over the 14 years. It's become so much easier, especially for me who's gluten-free. There's just a lot more available. So yeah.
Yeah, because it had to have looked so different back then. I mean, I didn't know what natural food was. I was just eating junk food and all that crap back then. So
yeah, it's changed a lot. It's definitely changed a lot. So
Yeah, and I think you're seeing like a lot of big, food conglomerates kind of eating up the smaller companies, and they're not small anymore. Huge acquisitions and getting into the natural space. It's pretty interesting.
And so you've started 3 of these Soulberry markets?
So we have 3 Soulberry markets now.
Yep.
We have Spring Lake, and Hamilton is addition to this. Yeah, Hamilton's just getting started, so it'll have its grand opening in September.
So you guys are growing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that the difference between like someone like this or something like this and like, you can go to Giant down the road and they have 2 aisles of natural foods, but like here you can just shop without having to read the ingredients. Like we already do that due diligence for you, so you can shop with confidence, just knowing like there's not genetically modified foods in the products that we're carrying. It's clean ingredients, no artificial flavors or colors or things like that. So I think people appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you're working with local farms the area and
yeah, as much as we can. It's hard because like we're in Pennsylvania, right? So that's only a seasonal thing. We're not in California where you can get produce locally all year round. But yeah, they actually do a wonderful job. We do get their greens all year round. We work with a couple other local farms where we get their produce, blueberries, tomatoes, other things locally in the summertime, which is great.
And then in terms of all of your other products, how do you go about sourcing those and choosing the right ones versus the bad ones, I guess?
Go ahead.
We have a guy. So we do have a purchasing manager who's in charge of all decision making for that, with my assistance. So there's a bunch of different ways that we go about choosing, but a lot of it has to do with what's available through distribution, so what we have access to. We also use different websites that allow small local purveyors to actually sell directly to us, so we do a lot of that. And then industry websites, industry news, a lot of companies reach out to us and ask to be sold in our store, especially more of the local ones. So they'll reach out to us and say, hey, we want to do wholesale and sell to us, so we find a lot of it that way.
I see.
And we do go to a couple like big shows a year, like big expos.
Trade shows,
yeah, trade shows, so which is great because it's like good exposure for like the new brands, and you can see what's coming to the market, and you get to try the product, which is good because you don't want to carry a product that's not good.
Because it's always changing, I would assume. Products are coming in and then going out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're always looking for like the better alternative. So whenever there's a new brand coming out, we can't just grab it, put it on the shelf. Something's got to go to kind of make room for that product. So because we always want to keep the shelves full and rotating, and we try not to tell people what's healthy and what's not. We just try and carry what we think is like the best alternative and what our customers are demanding. Like one person's vision of health could be very different than somebody else's vision of health, and that's not really what we're here to do. We're not here to criticize people's decisions. So you can have a vegan diet and a carnivore diet, and both think they're doing what's right, either for people or planet, or they're self for the planet. But it's not our job to tell them that. We just try to provide the resources for them to be able to do the diet that they see fit for themselves or for the planet.
I see.
And I will say that I think social media plays a big part too in what people are following or like what's trending. Like there's certain things like chlorophyll, right, that we've carried for years and I've taken for years, and it's always been here, but I think something went viral on TikTok, and we couldn't keep it on the shelf, and so it's interesting. It's also I think social media plays a big part in that too, of what people are looking for and kind of what they're following at that time as well. So we kind of just try to stay true to what we believe in, and then people kind of just come and find it when
Well, it can get very overwhelming on social media. Like one day this thing's healthy, the next day it's unhealthy, and
yes, and that's why
I think what way to go.
I think like what Ameer said, we don't try to tell people what isn't or isn't healthy. You kind of have to do what aligns with you, and we just kind of stick to our standards and keep that.
Yeah, and we have a lot of very knowledgeable people in the store that believe and live this lifestyle. So again, they don't impose their visions on people, but they will give them facts and science-backed information on what the findings are, right? So whether things are inflammatory or not, there's markers for that. There's ways to look into that. There's ways to learn about it. And then a lot of people that don't know come in trying to learn, and we can educate them on what we are reading about and hearing about on why this could be a better option for you to substitute, like, your canola oil for an avocado oil, or, why to cook with butter instead of something else. Or,
Do you find a lot of people are asking questions and wanting to learn about certain things?
Yeah, so especially in our like self wellness aisle, when people, a lot of times, one of my favorite sayings is, if you listen to your body when it whispers, you'll never hear it scream. That's not always how people approach health. A lot of times they wait for something to go wrong before they dive into sometimes we end up being a last resort instead of a preventative choice. So last resort looks like you went to your doctor, you went to different people, and no one's really able to give you, the support you needed or understand it. And then, sometimes it's a simple diet change. And if a doctor doesn't go into that and you're not reacting to something, then, that's where some of our staff can help and give some guidance and make some dietary suggestions without crossing the line of what's legal for us to say as non-physicians.
What are some of the biggest myths in the natural food industry that people wouldn't know?
Oh, biggest myth. Okay, one of them, I think that is a big, big myth, is that people think that crops that are genetically modified, if they have a peel, it's still safe to eat. We don't believe that because Roundup or glyphosate and you can chime in, is a water-soluble molecule, so it's getting absorbed into the fruit or vegetable or...
Like avocados, if they're not organic, they're not going to, the fruit inside is not going to have the chemicals on it. But GMO foods, glyphosate is water soluble, like she was saying. So,
right. So the peel doesn't protect it from all those chemicals. It actually is absorbed into the...
Interesting, because you have like those, what are the fruits and vegetables that are not, they're safe from
the clean 15 and the dirty.
Whatever that
I think
is.
that has a lot more to do with how much they have to spray based on where things are grown to keep pests away and actually be able to grow a viable crop for retail. So, that just has to do with like the total amount of chemicals that are going in to grow those crops. Like onions and potatoes are easier to grow than strawberries are. Pests love strawberries. They're very hard to grow, so they end up being on the list of dirty dozen pretty frequently. I think a myth is that the USDA can't handle certifying all this stuff, but it's not actually how it works. The USDA doesn't certify all the organic produce. They employ certifiers to do that for them.
Do you work with any farms that aren't certified organic? Because there's a lot of misconceptions within the organic space that I've learned from farmers. Farms can be doing things all organically, but not certified organic.
I think that it's more paperwork than it is a cost, and that's my understanding of trying to get an organic certification, which might be hard for small farmers. But there's a lot of farmers who don't believe the chemicals that are allowed in organic are necessarily better, but it's just people's opinions on science, so to each their own, and whatever people want to believe is kind of up to them. But I believe in organic, I believe in the USDA seal, I believe that they're doing a great job, and I think that if more farmers can get certified, I think that would help validate and maybe lower the cost for future farmers and put kind of everyone in the right direction.
I guess in this setting, it's more valuable to have that stamp because the consumers don't know the farmers. So they come in here and it's more of like the trustworthy stamp.
If we were to ever work with local farmers, what we're looking for, we do work with some local farmers, but if we were to get outside of our comfort zone, away from organic certified, like let's say local apples that time of year, we would look for people that are using at least integrated pest management, where they're not just spraying to get the highest yield, that they're actually looking out for the environment, that they're trying to put the least amount of chemicals on their apples or whatever it is that they're growing. So I think some sort of at least integrated pest management where it's maybe not fully to the organic, but at least in the right direction, or they're working towards it, because sometimes it could take years to get that certification if you've been spraying chemicals on your land for a long time. So I think that's really important that they're kind of moving in that direction. So
we we carry raw milk in this location and in our Spring Lake location, and our old raw milk supplier, they were certified organic, and they had let us know that they were going to stop that because of all the paperwork, because of the costs. Nothing was changing, but they were going to stop that. And for us, it's a little bit of a red flag. Okay, well, why? We want to know that nothing is changing. And we had a meeting and we made sure everything was going to stay the same, and it was. We don't carry them anymore because they don't do wholesale, but so we have carried farmers who aren't certified organic, but they follow those practices too. We do.
Exactly. So what's the community like between your three stores? Who are you seeing, I guess, as the regular customers?
Oh.
Well, I think
I think that, kind of like I said before, our customer demographic is just like so wide. I know a lot of companies have a very specific demographic. I don't know that we do. It's very broad. I would say based on all of my insight, with social media and the information that we kind of gather here, we do. It's a lot of women. Between 30 and 50 is a lot of the shopping, but that's not to say that's all we have. Yeah.
So what are we in Bucks County?
Yes.
Here? So how does the community play a role here? Are you involved with the community? You know people that are coming in on a regular basis?
Oh, yeah. We do. It's different because, we do live here. So, we like to see other local business owners, local other restaurateurs come in here. We do supply wholesale for some other restaurants locally in New Hope. But It's interesting. We came here right before we opened the business, and we didn't know anybody, and now I kind of feel like we know everybody, which is great. It's wonderful. So yeah, we try to support the local community too. We've done a couple roundups for local nonprofits, donations, community events. So we try to get involved as much as we can as a small business. And yeah, I think we have a great relationship with our customers.
We're lucky that we live here, so we get to know a lot of the customers in this store because we're here most of the time.
Yes. And then a lot of our customers, we have kids, so now our kids are in school together, so it's nice we know them on that level too.
Is like when you opened up the new locations, is a certain area considered more of like a risky spot to open a store like this?
We were nervous, right? Because there's a Giant literally 2 minutes down the road there, and then a McCaffrey's 2 minutes down the road there. So we're sitting in between them. So New Hope is not like a heavily populated town, in my opinion. So you're kind of like, well, how many people are there to support? But it's been great. You know, I think people either just shop us or shop all the locations. So you get nervous. There's a risk, obviously, with anywhere. But no, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, and for opening those other locations, we didn't actually just start them from scratch. They were existing health food stores, so we kind of had an idea for how busy they were or where they were at. So one thing that is happening in New Jersey is that it is very hard. You don't see a lot of people opening brand new health food stores with new names. It's typically people that have owned health food stores for a really long time that are getting busier or growing, and now they're getting to the point where they're ready to retire or move on, or they didn't adapt with the times. They're trying to compete with Whole Foods, and they were, they lost business and they just weren't able to compete. So we come in, we reinvigorate their selections. We change the pricing model. We have incorporate our loyalty program. We try and do a little bit more marketing. These smaller stores it's nice because you know your customers' names, they know your name as a cashier.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just get that smaller feel. And also the stores are much more shoppable. You can be in and out of a grocery store in 10, 15 minutes, where sometimes in an 80,000 square foot ShopRite, it takes a lot longer.
Yeah. Along the smaller store lines, you're explaining how you're under an umbrella of a company, or with like Kimberton, Whole Foods, and
so it's not so like we're our own company, but we actually are part of an organization. It's like, it's voluntary, right? But we do it because we think there's a lot of benefits to it.
It's like a buying group essentially.
Yeah.
So
you can go ahead.
Yeah. So it's called the Independent Natural Food Retailers Association, and we're a part of it. I've been a part of it for almost maybe 10 years now or so with my previous businesses, and then Soulberry joined right away, and that allows us to act as a virtual chain. So we actually get very, very good pricing. So where a lot of people think small stores have to have more expensive pricing, I think that we are very competitive. So we are pricing at the same level as a ShopRite or a Giant, and then our sales are typically more aggressive, than some of those stores. Like when we have things on sale, they're typically the cheapest price around. So that
it'd be cheaper here than it would be in the Giant.
Yeah. So
if you had like a sale
for sale items, I would say most of the time that's the truth. Yeah.
How does that organization dictate? How does that help you guys?
Yeah. So it's like,
what does that look like?
It's 400 or so different owners and stores that get together. I think we employ like 60 or so people. So they go out to brands and say, hey, if you give us this deal, then we're going to forward that to our stores, and they're going to pass on the discount. So it drives volume to independents. So the same way that the Giant would use their buying power to get, really good prices on certain items, our organization does that for all 400 independent store owners.
How have you evolved in the last 4 years with business strategies? Like, how much work goes into it all?
It's a lot of work.
We always say it's like 5 businesses in one, really, because you have food service, and then you have grocery, you have produce, you have wellness, and then I'm missing one. That's only 4.
Our juice bar would count.
Oh, and our juice bar, yeah. So it's kind of a lot. And when you're first starting out, we were young. We were not just in our late 20s when we opened the businesses, and we didn't have super deep pockets. So we were doing a lot of things. I was doing the accounting, the marketing, the HR, stocking, cashier, whatever needed to be done. And same with Ameer. We wore a lot of hats. Now, that we're growing and we have multiple businesses, we're able to hire a team, like a group of people who can take on those responsibilities and just, create better buying, better pricing, better support for the staff. So that's definitely changed the dynamic. As you grow, you definitely have to restructure the business and look at it a little bit differently.
This is a lot bigger than I anticipated when I came
Oh yeah.
here. So this is all prepared foods.
Yes.
How much work goes into that, and how are you cooking in a way that benefits people's health?
So right here is our bowl station. This is one that like we're very proud of. We kind of touched on this before, but it's very similar to sweet greens, but we do all organic. So all of the produce here is organic. It's what we sell in our produce department, so it's what we put here. It's just a very easy, convenient option for people. You can come in, you can choose off the menu, you can make your own bowl. A lot of people say it lasts for 2 meals, so maybe they're too big, but this has done very well for us, and we have people who like love it, are here every day for it.
Does the organic, using all organic, increase the pricing?
You know, it definitely does, but I am going to be honest. If you go to a restaurant right now and get a salad, you're paying almost like $20. So
That's true.
Yeah, and it's not organic, and so we try to
Not even half the size.
Yeah, so you know, we definitely don't price it as
It's
expensive.
a fair price.
It's a good price for what it is. Yes.
Where do you see the natural food space going?
Yeah, so I think it's going to get complicated because you see big chains like ShopRite or Stop and Shop or Kroger's coming into the natural space because there's a lot of dollars there and people want to have those choices. And customers are transition customers. They're buying Doritos and organic beef, or they're trying to figure out exactly what it is that they believe in. So there's a lot of transition stores. Grocery stores are coming into the natural space and they're doing a very good job. They're priced competitively, and they're having those offerings. But
Does that hurt you guys?
I'm sure it steals some sales from us, but we're really focused on creating an experience where you can come in, like Brittany said, not have to worry too much about the ingredients, filter through those, have a very simple experience. Also, we tend to be first to market on a lot of things, so we'll get a lot of items before some other stores will, which is nice because we'll be able to try the smaller local store products before they're, most of the time those companies have to grow sales to a certain amount before they can get into a supermarket. So we can give them that opportunity, which kind of is cool because we can give them an opportunity to grow a natural brand. Like Siete, for example, they started off in natural retailers. Now they're everywhere. They were just, I think they sold for $1 billion or something, $2 billion or whatever to Pepsi. So as Kroger and those companies start moving into the natural space, you're seeing Whole Foods and big natural retailers kind of do the opposite and move into more conventional. So they're all kind of, in my opinion, they're kind of ending up very similar. Like they're all going to kind of be the same. So we're doing our best to hold true to our roots and just kind of provide the products that we think our customers want. As small business owners, we have a little bit more flexibility to not just follow the money, just to kind of keep educated, keep pushing the envelope of like what we believe, so that eventually customers will learn, and we'll try and be a part of the natural industry's growth into what we think is right, without overstepping and telling people what's healthy and what's not.
If you were to go back to 2013, would you ever think it would become like this?
No. No, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. 2013, I was, like I said, it was a really small health food store, and I just went in there as a consumer and put the products on the shelf that I wanted. I think it was the service and being able to talk to customers that wanted to be educated, that were transitioning to learning. And I think there's a lot of people out there who want to learn a lot about natural foods, and they might not know.
It's a very rewarding job, honestly. Like Ameer is not in the aisle as much, in this aisle as much before. He is very knowledgeable. He's being very humble. This is like his area of expertise, along with many other things. But to get letters from someone, like if you have a 5-year-old girl who got Lyme disease and she did the treatment, still doesn't feel right, and then we help her, and they're like, she feels so much better. It's feels so good. Or someone who was battling, a cancer journey, and we put them on a regimen, and they reach out and they're like, oh my, I don't know how you did it. It's amazing. And that's not going to happen for everybody, but those little wins, it just feels really, really good to be able to be a positive influence or impact on people's lives.
Absolutely, yeah. Because you're surely making an impact. What do you want future customers to know when they come in here?
I think I just really want everyone to know that our staff is really knowledgeable, and we encourage people to ask them questions. Our staff will work with people to kind of work through. They're not doctors, so they can't give medical advice. They can't tell you what's going to mix with your prescription medication, but they can guide you onto like who's the best person to ask for that, your pharmacist or your doctor, or what questions you ask your doctor based on how you're feeling. I encourage people to ask questions to our existing staff in all stores.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And if you see us, come say hi.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you taking the time to show me around here. I think this will be good for people.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming in and checking out the store.
Yeah.
Picking our brain. It was good. That's good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Awesome.
Don't forget to subscribe and hear more stories about the people behind a healthier future in this playlist right here.